I feel like as we come into the end of the year, and people start getting excited about Melbourne Cup Day and Christmas and spending money, that people are going, right, 2020, what am I going to do with that? How am I going to make this goddamn 2020 any different to what 2019 looked like? At the minute you decide that you are of value and put some boundaries up around that value, people are really happy to pay you what you're worth with what you do. So I thought, well, seeing as though I've decided that I am excellent at what I do, and in fact, indeed I am going to get on here and teach you guys for free how to sell so that 2020 looks a little bit different to your 2019. I want you guys to learn from me how to be original and creative in your marketing and original and creative and authentic in your sales process, and be super generous at the same time, right? Give away all of your best content because, you know, you've got to show people that you're different to everybody else. I really believe that sales and marketing, we're going into a new space, right? There's a new paradigm where, in a really responsible and powerful way, we can give what we want to give from a space of love and generosity without being walked all over, without getting the piss taken out of us. And I am just on like an absolute implementation, you know, power bandwagon at the moment. I really, really would love to see my clients, see people in this Tribe Famous Business Marketing group that have been following my stuff for a while now, implementing like absolute mofos, because the next 3 months will change your 2020. If you do what you need to do, the next 3 months will change your 2020, because when you get on the phone and have conversations with people, guess what? You get to find out what they're thinking, and what they're thinking is what needs to go into your ad copy, and what goes in your ad copy is the quality of the person that you get on the phone, which means it's the quality of the person that you get to work with, and you get to choose all of that. So you get good at sales, you have got a ticket to freedom. Yes, I said that I'm very good at getting leads for businesses, right? I've been doing that for like 5 or 6 years now. I can write ad copy that gets $4, $5, $10 leads, name, email address, and phone number. I've got no shortage of leads. I never have a lead shortage in my business. But did I know how to convert them early on in the piece back in like 2015? No, I didn't. So I went and paid $30,000 to a sales coach to teach me what I'm teaching you now for free. Sales, ticket to freedom, ticket to 2020, blowing shit up. We are going to bring, we women, the new paradigm of non-pushy, loving, authentic, generous, fabulous, powerful, boom, motherfuckers kind of energy into 2020 and turn around your business. And we're going to start right here, right now. So this week, what we've been talking about is how the whole sales process based on the AIDA principles: attention, interest, desire, action, right? We're up to the desire because it's Thursday. D. The attention stage was all about building rapport really fast, really powerfully. And I use this analogy of getting in, like what you would do at a dinner party. Like, what would you do? Ask some questions. Who's this guy? Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Where are you up to? What? Oh, yeah, notice that, you know, we've got Fred in common. How do you know Fred? You know, build rapport, build rapport. Don't let them out of the conversation. Ask them about themselves. Be more interested in them than you are in yourself, and try and get yeses. That's how we build rapport quickly. The next stage is interest, right? So on Wednesday, I talked all about interest, and that was about asking really good questions. So I was talking about mapping out the tangibles and the intangibles of the program, product, customer service experience that you give somebody. And when you've got all of that mapped out over here, you need to reverse engineer the types of questions you might ask in order for the answers to be relevant, right? For you to kind of filter through and go, oh yeah, that person sounds like they're in my target market and I could actually help them. Because there's nothing worse than just because you've got a lead on the phone, there's nothing worse than going, oh, you know, yeah, I should definitely sell to that person like because that's where it gets pushy. That's where you get like that dog in the park trying to dry hump some random stranger's leg. It's just like, hang on, I didn't ask for this, and now you're trying to sell me this thing, and I thought we were just having a chat, you know. Now, if you want to know what questions are relevant to your business and your program, product, service, whatever you're doing, you need to come and talk to me at the sales retreat. It's the 18th to the 21st of November. Oh, did you see how I did that? I just slotted that in. Okay, so today is all about desire. So how do we make people desire what you want to sell them? Well, the only way we can make them desire it is if you've created a big enough void in for them. Start painting out a vision. Desire for what you do comes in a couple of places. One, proving that you've got the ability to create a vision with them and hold them to that vision, right? Number two, not point, like so many sales calls go badly when you drive the knife in. Oh yeah, you are in pain. You can't get any people to come and sign up for your photo shoot. You know what, you need more teen girls. Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? Want me to solve that? Come and work with me. You know what? Prove to me you can solve it. Like, how would you solve it? Give me something of what you do. Give me a taster of what you do. How do you do that? You know, don't leave me here with a knife wound bleeding out on the floor in my misery of shit that I already bloody knew that I was in pain about, right? It's ugly. It's not an enjoyable sales call to be on the other end of. And it's not really enjoyable for you either, because you guys are all here, like you're all beautiful women listening in on this call right now. It would feel ugly for you to have to leave somebody in pain and not be able to help them solve the problem. So just give them a taster of it. Love, generosity, give them a taster of how you might solve the problem. So desire, you need to not leave them bleeding out on the floor. You need to be able to bring everything together like this investigative journalist that you are in the first part of the call, the first 2/3 of the call, into a nice, juicy, visual, inspiring, powerful package that people want to buy into. They don't want to buy into pain, so don't leave them in pain. Leave them in vision and solution, and make yourself the expert of getting them to that space. Now, how do you make yourself the expert? Well, number one, you need to have a pretty good idea of what you're talking about and be well trained and well versed in how to do what you do, right? So number two is juicy vision. Number three is make yourself an expert. So already, because you've demonstrated a lot of stuff at this point, you probably already asked in their mind, starting to think, oh yeah, this woman's a pretty good expert on this thing, right? Cool. So then the next part is going to be like the bit where you start to be not pushy, right? Keep asking questions. Keep making space in the conversation at this point and going, right, okay, so how would you feel about that? How would that change your life? How would that change other parts of your life? How would that change the people around you? Keep breathing oxygen into the vision, the future. Don't be scared of silence. Let them unearth their, oh my God, I could actually have that. Holy shit, now I'm panicking because I could actually have that. Whoa, because most of you guys are here to help people. Like most of my clients are consultants or coaches, or are in a service-based industry where your design and your raison d'etre is to help people. So this call has to be a demonstration of your help, right? That's what these people want to hear and see. So, so the idea is to let them feel it. Like really just sit with them while they feel it. Poke around in the positivity and let them feel it more, ask them give them time and space to tell you how that will change their life. Because then what you've got is this amazing tool for when they start to come up with all their own mindset bullshit, which is why it's important that you're not feeding your own mindset bullshit into it. So it's at this point that I would ask permission and say, cool, it's interesting you feel that way. Do you mind if I tell you a little bit about my program and how it might solve some of those problems? And usually at this point, they're so enrolled in what you've gone on about because you've been doing it together, you've been building a vision together, that they'll say, of course, go for it, And also it'd be a little bit rude if they said no, and they'll know that, so they won't say no. Couple of things are going to happen at this point. You're going to start telling them about their program, which is the action part, right? The other part of it is objections. They're going to start coming up with all those concerns, and you might realize that I just listed very quickly off 6 concerns that everybody has. They come up in all sorts of different stories. They wear all sorts of different clothes. They are the wolf in sheep's clothing, but they're there, nonetheless, they are there. 6 different objections that everybody has in some way, shape or form. Now, at my sales retreat, I give you this amazing framework that helps you handle those objections really powerfully. It works the same way every single time, over and over. It does not matter what their story is. It's the same framework. And you need this framework as much in the first 2 minutes of the call as you need in the last 5 minutes of the call. Because if you start handling objections at the end of the call, you're going to look like a pushy fucker. But if you start handling objections when and eking it out of them up front and calling them on that at the top of the call 45 minutes earlier, you're not going to seem pushy when you call them again at the end, right? You're just going to sound like you actually are, which is someone that will not let them get away with anything less than what they deserve, what they want, what their vision is. You are being that person in that moment that is holding the space for something more powerful, more unbelievable, more transformational than anything that they've allowed themselves to do before now. If you are at the point in your business where you feel like sales is your mother success blocker, like Shona Craig said to me on the phone one time. I had this amazing phone call with this chick once, and whoa, did she throw some shit at me. She was like, oh, the reasons why, you know, she couldn't like we did like a 45-minute call. I was like, what if you could charge more money? What if that could change your life? Da, 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 da. Here's the plan. This is my creative ideas on how we might do that. Da, da, da. What do you think of that? Oh my God, that sounds amazing, amazing, amazing. So we got to this point, right? And I told her about my $25,000 mastermind, which I don't run anymore, and I'm not that expensive anymore. And I'm only not that expensive anymore because you guys don't trust marketers anymore, so I can't be that expensive, but I'm worth it. So I told her about that, and she was like, all the reasons why I can't afford that. There's no way I deserve that. There's da-da-da-da-da-da-da, okay? And I said, cool, no worries, all right, no worries. So you go off with it. I'm going to give you a call again in a couple of days. I got her back on the phone in a couple of days later, and I said, you know what? I think you've actually got some shit around money. And I think, I can't remember exactly what it was, but what we unearthed by me calling her on it and being brave enough to call her on it and coach her as if she was a client in that moment, I said to her, you know, if you're asking people to pay you, yet you won't invest in yourself, what are you energetically telling the people on the other end that you want to work with? What are you telling them? And she just had this massive kind of aha moment, and she started telling me all about how her dad was a used car salesman and lost their family fortune by screwing over his business partner and screwing someone else and whatever. I don't know can't remember the whole story, right? But it really brought up her stuff, and I was like, okay, here we are. Now we can deal with the actual thing. Like, this is a mindset thing. We have just identified a great big chunky story that you're making around why you can't charge more money for what you do. And it's all just because of your dad. It's got nothing to do with you. Nothing. She wrote me the most amazing testimonial. Oh my God, in 5 minutes, Kath unearthed my mother and sales success blocker. And she went on to solve that and become successful. So good on her. Another time that this happened was a credibility issue. And I got all the way through this call with this woman who ran a travel agency. And throughout the 1 hour call, while she was standing on a train in the middle of Melbourne, she didn't once tell me what was really going on for her. And she's like, oh, this sounds exactly what I need. It's exactly what I need. Da, 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 da. I said to her, yo, it's $7,500. But if you want to do that strategy day where we systematize your whole business too, that's another $2,500. So it's 10 grand. And she was like, I really want to do it, but hang on a second. Who are you? Like, you just called me off a Facebook ad out of nowhere. Like, who are you? How do I know that you can get me the results? And I said, well, you could go onto my website and see a whole bunch of testimonials and case studies of people that have worked with me and the results that I've got with them. You could do that. Like, that's sitting there right now. And if you'd like to go and do that, you're more than welcome to. I said, but I feel like there's something else going on. Like, do you generally have a trust issue with someone who's spent an hour on the phone helping you through some of your shit? Is this like kind of a normal reaction? And she said, well, actually, I've just had a really big trust issue. Like, my main hostess in my tours, I wanted to start staying home a little bit more to spend more time with my kids. And so I had this woman going off and hostessing a lot of my tours, and she's gone out on her own and stolen all my clients. So of course I've got trust issues. And I was like, whoa, okay, there it is. There's the story. And I said to her, Okay, cool. Let's just recap. So you've got a business where you take 50-plus-year-old single women whose husbands don't want to travel with them, or they're widowed or whatever. You take them to the other side of the world on overseas trips they've never been on. And the number one thing that you're asking for them is for them to trust you, because you've got their life in your hands. Yet you're not going to back yourself and be trusting of yourself to make the right decision. I said, like, I can totally understand how you trusted your hostess and she ripped you off. And so now you're like, can I trust my decisions? That's probably how you're feeling. Is that how you're feeling? That's exactly how I'm feeling. Yeah, I don't know if I can trust my decisions. I'm like, cool. So you've got two choices here. This will go one of two ways. Either you can continue to go through life not trusting people, and I can almost guarantee you that the outcome of that will be that none of these women will ever trust you, because you're going to start giving that off energetically, right? You're going to start telling the universe, I don't trust anyone, so no one's going to trust me. My trust is my story. Or you can make a decision today to get over that and go back into forgiveness and love and generosity and make a decision from that space. How would that person make the decision? And she said to me, well, that person would absolutely invest in herself and know that these women need to get overseas and do all the things that their bucket list things that they've always wanted to do. Yeah, I've totally got to back myself. You're right. That woman that ripped me off, that's her issue. That's not me. That's not me. That's not how I show up. That's not what I'm going to do. Okay, fuck it. I'm going to give you $10,000 right now. Here's my credit card details. Take the whole $10,000 or I'll change my mind. So from someone who was already not going to give me money, like she'd already made her mind up, no way, not going to give you money, then and there on a V-line train in Melbourne, she gave me $10,000 cash. She'd never met me before in my life, and we'd spoken to each other for an hour. So if you turn around and tell me that you can't get someone to buy your $500 product in 20 minutes on the phone with a really good structured sales call, then I'd say, bullshit. Because when you get on the phone and you make lots of calls and you're generating lots of leads and you have lots of practice and you know your avatar better than anyone else knows them, then there is zero reason that you can't do exactly what I could do, because I'm not special, right? I'm just implement. So if you want to get over your shit, come and join us on the sales retreat. It's the 18th to the 21st of November. You will get over your own mindset crap, just like that travel agent lady did. You will get over your own stories. You will become, I'm going to teach you the energies. Like, I'm actually going to help you method act. Judy's been to the sales retreat. I'm going to help you method act the energies that you need to be in to hold the space for people so that they can believe in themselves longer than they believe. So you believe in them long enough for them to start believing in themselves. When you start being and showing up as the person that that changes lives, that transforms energy, that raises frequencies, that shifts paradigms, when you start showing up in that energy, that's when shit changes. Sitting here doing the same thing that you're doing right now is not going to shift where you're going in your business. And on that note, I'm going to drop my goddamn mic.